Our next Daily Viewpoint, it appears that we Americans really don't think aging is a problem in our country. It's not a big deal. A new study from the Pew Research Center asked residents of 21 countries if they thought the growing number of older people was, quote, a major problem, end quote. Well, the United States in this survey ranked 19th, almost last in this list of 21. Oh, sorry. Am I banging the table? Sorry. The Japanese and South Koreans were the most concerned about the aging population.
They regard the older
They have
people.
more respect for the
That's
elderly.
right.
They expect the majority of their populations to be older than 50 by the year 2050. And another interesting note, the United States is one of the few surveyed countries where the majority believes that individuals are primarily responsible for their own well-being when they're older.
That's
so,
sad.
ladies of the jury, do Americans need an attitude adjustment about getting older?
Because we're a disposable society. We throw old people out. I mean,
no respect.
No respect. And you've got families that have 4 children, and one of those children will end up taking care, and the other 3 children are too busy. They're raising their own families.
It's sad.
And
it really
is very sad. And look at the homeless population. Look at the people, the Meals on Wheels. Veterans that come in here. And we just cast them out. We cast children out.
But
we
do you
cast
think,
pets
before
out.
you paint everything with a broad brush, do you think that is changing, that attitude is changing as we age and as this baby boomer population enters into, some of us, into our senior years?
As long as we become a less moral society, we will be throwing old people away. When we become morally, once again, like this country used to be, and believe that you do the right thing, you take care of your own, you take care of your family.
Well, now, Debbie, what about you? You see a lot of, crimes against the elderly in your capacity at the DA's office.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that they're not regarded like they should. They're not respected. I mean, who hits an old lady over the head, not only takes her purse and then knifes her? I mean, it's really sad that American society, that they don't even say yes ma'am and no ma'am to somebody,
Titles of respect.
Who's 50 years old, who I think that's still a young age as we get ready to, as I get ready to, I'm not that far from that.
You start saying yes ma'am to me.
Yeah, that's right. And then I think that, you don't put your parents in a home if you don't have to. I think, like you said, if there are 4 kids, you raise those 4 kids. Those 4 kids should be coming together and saying, "I'll have mom for the summer, okay, and I'll have mom for the fall, and I'll have mom." I mean,
that's right. But here's the deal. Guess what? Now the kids are bringing their kids to live with the old people. So they're taking care of the grandchildren because the daughter's on drugs or the husband's run off. It's all whacked up.
Because who's going to take care of that grandmother who's taking care of that grandkid?
Well, we've often talked about, in Western culture, primarily Americans, kind of being, we don't want to worry about our own mortality. We don't want to think about death or end-of-life issues, and this is probably a facet of that. We're in denial about ourselves getting older, so we don't want to deal with the problems that even those around us are having as they age.
We don't want to sacrifice.
Don't want to sacrifice.
We don't sacrifice anything.
Yeah.
So how can we turn the tide? What's one thing we can do?
You start imagining that you're better than you think you are, and start doing things in a more loving way and a caring way.
Toward the
and
elderly.
You will find if you do that at the end of the day, and if you've helped somebody and you've been sweet to somebody, you don't have to take a sleeping pill at night, because when you lay your sweet head on that pillow, you like yourself. You start doing things that make you like you.
And you start having conversations as siblings. Let's start talking about before our parents die.
Right.
What are we going to do if one gets sick? I know Richard and I, getting married in April, I said when we go and buy a house, let's already have a quarters where one of our parents may have to come live with us, that they feel comfortable, they have their own area of the house. It's like you have to start taking these into account before you buy a house, because somebody's going to get sick. So where are they going to go? So let's have room for them.
Good for you.
So I think I love my parents.
I think there's an 80-20. I think not in every case, but in most cases, 80% of Americans, if they haven't thought that way, they're willing to. And sometimes the 20% that's the bad, that's the unconcerned, that's the rude or inappropriate, kind of paints the rest of us with a bad
I think you stop letting kids live with you who are 26, 27, 30 years old and let them get out and find themselves in the world and have more room for the elderly who've already paid their dues.
We'll be right back with the Daily Quiz.
Stay here.